Hello, welcome again to another edition of Practical English, your smart guide to the English language. I am your host, Peter, from Canada, coming to you by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And today we are going to look at airport vocabulary. This is the season for travel here in Brazil. So these are some words that will serve you well if you are making the journey via aviation. And it's a short one today, folks. This is my only slide. And at this point, I feel like I should mention that a big part of my speciality is teaching pilots. But the vocabulary that I teach pilots is mostly related to flying the plane. This vocabulary is related to being a passenger. So a lot of airline passenger words begin with the word air because that is where you will be spending most of your travel. You have airport, which is the place where you catch your plane. Airplane, which is what you make your journey in, and airline, which is the company that you fly with. Pretty much every company has a national airline. I'm not really sure about Brazil because most of the airlines that existed in Brazil 20 years ago don't exist anymore. Nowadays, the two big ones are Lata and Azul, which means blue in Portuguese. Carry-on is the baggage that you are allowed to bring on the plane, which is safely stored in your overhead compartment. Baggage claim is where you pick up what you weren't allowed to take on the plane. When I arrived in Brazil, I waited at baggage claim until my bag was actually the last bag to come off the plane. Baggage carousel is that revolving thing that spins around your luggage when it comes off the plane. Terminal, the main building of an airport. Most airports only have one, but in Beijing and Sao Paulo, they have three. And in Beijing, it can take you a very long time to get from one terminal to another. The one in Chicago also has multiple terminals. And yeah, it can be a long distance between these structures if you're at a major airport. Pilot, person who flies the plane. Flight attendant. The flight attendant is your friend. They are responsible for the care of the passengers, and they also are trained in a number of things that you hopefully will never have to find out, like first aid. So don't think of them as waitresses. Flight attendants are your friends. They are very skilled in a number of things. They are responsible for the care and safety of the passenger. That's you. Security check. This is where you walk through a metal detector and they make sure that you are not carrying any deadly weapons. I have unfortunately had the experience of being caught carrying a deadly weapon, but I was unaware of it. And yes, this was a box cutter because in my job I worked as a stalker in a grocery store. A box cutter was part of the job, and I just forgot to take it out of my pants. And unfortunately, this was right after 911. Metal detector, this is where you get detected for metal. Security scanner, kind of the same thing, except it's an X-ray, so it can see a lot of other things besides metal. Baggage. This will actually be the subject of my next pronunciation video. The G is pronounced J, as in jazz. And the only difference between baggage and suitcase is that baggage can refer to more than one because it's not countable. Suitcase is countable, so you can have one suitcase 2 suitcases. Ticket gets you on the plane. Passport gets you in the country. Boarding pass, also necessary to get on the plane. Immigration is when you are going to another country and you need to say why you are there. Usually pretty straightforward, but always intimidating. Customs is similar to immigration, except the difference with customs is they want to see what you are bringing into the country. Okay. Departure is when you are leaving a city or country. Gate is where you go to get your air flight. Check-in is where you go to let people know you are here. You should usually check in, I believe it's 1 hour before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. Check-in counter, basically the same thing. Self-check-in kiosks, these are really nice. This is where you book your flight online and they just print your boarding pass for you. Arrival, this is where you go to pick up people who are flying into the city where you live. Departure board shows the flights that are leaving. Arrival board shows the flights that are arriving. And we have already discussed the difference between suitcase and luggage. So that's it, because I actually have classes today. So I'm going to get busy teaching that. If you would like one, please feel free to contact me. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, thank you very much.